surgical. In the medical, using mifepristone and misoprostol, that is prostaglandin, methotrexate and combination of misoprostol, tamoxifen and misoprostol. These are the medical managements. The surgical managements are menstrual regulation, vacuum aspiration, either by doing manual vacuum aspirator, suction evacuation and curettage, dilatation and evacuation. It can be rapid method or slow method. Second trimester 13 to 20 weeks, that is prostaglandin E1, misoprostol, 15 methyl PGF2A, that is carboprast, PGE2, tinoprostom and their analogues used intravaginally, intramuscularly or intraamniotically. Dilatation and evacuation 13 to 14 weeks. Intrauterine installation of hyperosmotic solutions. Intraamniotic hypertonic urea, that is 40%, saline 20%, then extraamniotic ethacridine lactate, prostaglandins, oxytocin infusion high doses used along with either of the above two methods. Last but not the least is the hysterotomy, which is done abdominally, but nowadays it is very commonly not done because of the effective medical managements. Earlier we used to do more of hysterotomies where the pre-era of prostaglandins. Now thanks to the prostaglandins, the surgical, that is hysterotomy, is drastically it has come down. First trimester of pregnancy, ಬೇರೆ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬನ್ನಿ. ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ. So the first trimester termination of the pregnancy, medical methods of first trimester abortion by using mifepristone, RE486 and misoprostol. Mifepristone is an analog of progesterone, that is a norethindrone, acts as an antagonist, blocking the effect of natural progesterone. Addition of low dose prostaglandins improve the efficiency of first trimester abortion. It is effective up to 63 days and is highly successful when used within 49 days of gestation. The protocol here is the 200 mg of mifepristone orally is given on day 1. On day 3, misoprostol, that is prostaglandin E1, 400 micrograms orally, or you can give 800 micrograms vaginally is given. Patient remains in the clinic for 4 hours during the expulsion of the conceptus, but we generally admit the patient. Patient is examined after 10 to 14 days to know the completeness of the abortion, which is there in 95%, and incomplete about 2% of the cases, and 1% they may not respond at all. The other combination is oral mifepristone 200 mg with vaginal misoprostol, that is 4 tablets of 200 micrograms, after 6 to 48 hours is equally effective. The Combi pack, that is 1+4, is approved by DGHS, Government of India, for MTP up to 63 days. Medical methods are safe, effective, non-invasive and have minimal complications. The contraindications for mifepristone should be not be used in women over more than 35 years, heavy smokers, and those on long-term corticosteroid. Methotrexate and misoprostol. Methotrexate 50 mg per square intramuscular before 56 days of gestation, followed by 7 days later misoprostol 800 microgram vaginally, is highly effective. Misoprostol may have to be repeated after 24 hours if it fails. If the procedure fails, ultrasound examination is done to confirm the failure. Then suction evacuation should be done. Methotrexate and misoprostol regime is less expensive but takes longer time that on the so the methotrexate and misoprostol, the combination of methotrexate, that is 50 milligrams per square meter square IM, followed by 7 days of misoprostol. Later, misoprostol 800 micrograms vaginally is highly effective. Misoprostol may have to be repeated after 24 hours if it fails. If the procedure fails, ultrasound examination is done to confirm the failure. Then suction evacuation should be done. Methotrexate and misoprostol regime is less expensive but takes longer time than mifepristone and misoprostol. Misoprostol has less side effects and is stable at room temperature, unlike other prostaglandins which must be refrigerated. Surgical methods of first trimester abortion. Menstrual regulation. It is the aspiration of the endometrial cavity within the 14 days of missed period in a woman with previous normal cycle. The operation is done as an outpatient or as an office procedure. It is done with aseptic precautions and in apprehensive patients. Sedation or paracervical block anesthesia may be employed. After introducing the posterior vaginal speculum, the cervix is studied with an Alice forceps. The cervix may be gently dilated using 4 or 5 mm size dilators. 5 to 6 mm size suction cannula is then inserted and attached to the 50 ml syringe for suction. The cannula is rotated, pushed in and out with gentle strokes. The operator should examine the aspirator tissue by floating it in clear plastic dish over a light source. Placental tissue appears fluffy and feathery when floats in a normal saline. This will help to detect failed abortion, molar pregnancy or ectopic pregnancy. The procedure is contraindicated in advanced pregnancy and in the presence of local pelvic inflammation. Menstrual regulation equipment, that is syringe, plastic cannula with whistle tip used in suction evacuation. Vacuum aspiration, MVA bar EVA, done up to 12 weeks with minimal cervical dilatation. It is performed as an outpatient procedure using a plastic disposable Carman's cannula up to 12 mm size and a 60 ml of plastic syringe, that is double wall syringe. It is quicker. So the aspiration of the products of conception is done. Sorry, there is a disturbance because of the administrative concerns. Okay, suction evacuation and or curettage. It is a procedure in which the products of conception are sucked out from the uterus with the help of cannula fitted to a suction apparatus. The preliminaries are general anesthesia, usually it's not needed. It can be done under cervical block or a sedation. If the patient is apprehensive, intravenous diazepam, that is sedation, I was telling, 5 to 10 mg supplemented or by paracervical block is quite effective. The patient is put on the table after she empties her bladder. Vaginal examination is done to note the size and position of the uterus and to note the state of cervix. Ultrasound should be performed when there is any doubt about the gestational age. Posterior vaginal speculum introduced and an assistant is asked to hold it. The anterior lip of the cervix is to be grasped by an Alice forceps, and a uterine sound is to be introduced to note the length of the uterine cavity and the position of the uterus. The cervix may have to be dilated with a smaller size graduated metal dilators up to one size less than that of a suction cannula. Filling the snap of the endocervix around the dilator is characteristic. Instead of laminary attained 12 hours before osmotic dilator or misoprostol, PGE1 400 microgram given vaginally 3 hours prior to surgery produces effective dilatation. Intravenous methazine 0.2 mg is administered. The appropriate suction cannula is fitted to the suction apparatus by a thick rubber or plastic tubing. The cannula is then introduced into the uterus The tip is to be placed in the middle of the uterine cavity. The pressure of suction is raised to 400 to 600 mm of mercury. The cannula is moved up and down and rotated within the uterine cavity with the pressure on. The suction bottle is inspected for the products of conception and blood loss. The suction is regulated by a finger placed over a hole at the base of the cannula. The end point of suction is denoted by no more material is being sucked out. It is a relativity. Gripping of the cannula by the contracting smaller size of the uterus, grating sensation, appearance of the bubble in the cannula or in the transparent tubing. These last three are the most important, and in the exam they ask, how do you know the completeness of the procedure? The vacuum should be broken before withdrawing the cannula down through the cervical canal to prevent injury to the internal os. It is better to curate the uterine cavity by a small flushing curate at the end of the suction, and the cannula is reintroduced to suck out any remnants. After being satisfied that the uterus is remaining firm and there is a minimal vaginal bleeding, the patient is brought down from the table and placing the sterile vulval pad. This is how the procedure is being done. So, cervix is folded with an alley or a sponge holder, and the cannula is introduced and rotated and moved in and out after a dilatation. The complications are excessive hemorrhage may be due to incomplete evacuation or atonic. Other complications are atonic uterus, injury, the cervical lacerations or varying degrees which may lead to or formation of a broad ligament hematoma, uterine perforation. They can go into shock by the local anesthesia, convulsions, cardiorespiratory arrest, death due to intravascular injection or overdosage, excessive blood loss, cervical shock, that is vasovagal attack, that is inhibition, vasovagal syncope due to the cervical stimulation. Uterus can undergo perforation, injury to the major blood vessels, bowel, bladder. Risk is more with advanced gestation. Sepsis, that is endometritis, myometritis, and pelvic peritonitis. Hematometra may cause pain, increased morbidity, continuation of the pregnancy in 1% of the cases. Coming to the dilatation and evacuation. This operation consists of D and E. There is one stage, it can be done at one stage or two stages. One stage is dilatation of the cervix and evacuation of the uterus, or done in the same sitting. Two stages is first phase includes slow dilatation of the cervix, and the second phase is rapid dilatation of the cervix and evacuation. One stage operation is indications are incomplete abortion, inevitable abortion, MTP 6 to 8 weeks, hydatidiform mole in the process of expulsion. Procedures is preliminaries. The patient is put under general anesthesia. Internal examination done at the size and position of the uterus and dilatation of the steps. If the cervix is not sufficiently dilated to admit the index finger, usually it should be dilated. Sims posterior vaginal speculum is introduced and an assistant is asked to hold it. The anterior lip of the cervix is grasped by an Alice forceps, and to study the cervix, uterine sound is not to be introduced. Sounding provides no information but risk of perforation and bleeding. The cervical canal is gradually dilated up to the desired extent by the graduated metal dilators. The products are removed by Ohm forceps. The uterine cavity is finally curated gently by a flushing curate. Injection, that is methergine 0.2 milligrams, is to be administered intravenously during the procedures. The speculum and the Alice forceps are to be removed. The uterus to be massaged bimanually with the help of external hand and the internal fingers placed inside the vagina. After being satisfied that the uterus is firm and the bleeding is minimal, the vagina and the perineum are toileted, a sterile vulval pad is placed, and the patient is sent back to her bed. Post-abortion care, emergency treatment of complication of any abortion or spontaneous or induced, family planning counseling and referral services. Linkage to the unreproductive health service, that is comprehensive service, male partner should be involved. Coming to the two-stage operation. Two-stage operation indications: first trimester abortion, commonest, that is missed abortion 8 to 10 weeks. Then the identiform mole with an unfavorable cervix, long, firm and closed doors to prevent damage to the cervix during rapid dilatation. A two-stage operation is, however, preferred in such cases. First phase, it consists of introduction of laminaria tents or Lamisil Maxwell sponge or into the cervical canal to effect its slow dilatation. The same may be effective by intravaginal insertion of misoprostol, that is 400 microgram 3 hours before surgery. It has less side effects. The patient should empty her bladder before it. No anesthesia is required. The appropriate size and number of the tent required are selected. The threads attached to one end are tied to the roller gauze. Steps: internal examination is done to note the size and position of the uterus and state of the cervix. Sims posterior vaginal speculum is introduced by an assistant asked to hold it. The anterior lip of the cervix is grasped by Halley's forceps to steady the cervix. The cervical canal may be dilated, especially in primigravida, by one or two smaller or metal dilators. Smaller dilators may be Ambler or Hawkin Das Hawkin-Ambler can be used. The tents are introduced one after the other, holding it by tent inducing forceps. The tent should be introduced for at least 4 centimeters so that tips are placed behind the internal os. The tents can also be introduced manually. So this is how the swelling of the laminaria and the soft dilated cervix after several hours. Prior to reintroduction, marked swelling due to the hygroscopic action while kept in the cervical canal. Coming to the second phase, it consists of further dilatation of the cervix by graduated metal dilators followed by evacuation procedures. Then MTP at 8 weeks. The posterior vaginal speculum is introduced after removing the roller gauze. The tents are removed with help of sponge forceps. The vagina and the cervix are swabbed with antiseptic solutions. Vaginal examination is done to note the size of the uterus, position of the uterus, and the state of dilatation of the cervix. Posterior vaginal speculum is introduced and is to be held by an assistant. The anterior lip of the cervix is grasped by Halley's forceps, and to study the cervix, cervix is dilated and graduated. Tell me what? So dangers of D&D operation: immediate excessive hemorrhage may be due to incomplete evacuation or atonic uterus, injury, cervical lacerations of varying degree which may lead to formation of a broad ligament hematoma, uterine perforation, shock due to local anesthesia, convulsions, cardiorespiratory arrest, death due to intravascular injection or overdose, excessive blood loss, cervical shock, vasovagal syncope due to cervical stimulation. Perforation, injury to the major blood vessels, bowel, bladder. Risk is more with advanced gestation. Sepsis, endometritis, myometritis and pelvic peritonitis. Hematometra may cause pain. There is an increased morbidity and continuation of the pregnancy possible around 1% of the cases. Late complications being pelvic inflammation, infertility, cervical incompetence, uterine synecdoche. Coming to the second trimester termination of pregnancy. In this, the medical methods are again the prostaglandins. They act on the cervix and the uterus. PGE and PGF. PGF PGE are preferred as they have more selective action on the myometrium and less side effects. So the same what we discussed is, but the dosage is different here. Misoprostol 400 to 800 micrograms of misoprostol given vaginally at an interval of 3 to 4 hours is most effective as the bioavailability is high. Alternatively, the first dose of 600 microgram misoprostol given vaginally, then 200 microgram orally every 3 hours are also found optimum. This regimen reduces the number of vaginal examination. Recently, the 400 microgram of misoprostol is given sublingually every 3 hours for a maximum of 5 doses. The regime has got 100% success in second trimester abortions, meaning thereby if you give a sublingual route, it will absorption rate is better because it avoids the first pass metabolism. So it generally directly goes into the systemic circulation. The mean induction abortion interval is 11 to 12 hours. Then coming to the Gemipres, that is PGE1 analog, 1 mg vaginal pessary every 3 to 6 hours for 5 doses or 24 hours has got a success about 90%. The mean induction interval is 14 to 18 hours. The third is combination of mifepristone and prostaglandins. Mifepristone 200 mg orally followed by 36 to 48 hours later by misoprostol. 800 microgram vaginal, then misoprostol. 400 microgram oral every 3 hours or 4 doses is used. Success rate of abortion is 97% and the median induction interval delivery is 6 to 7 hours. Pre-treatment with mifepristone reduces the induction abortion interval significantly compared to the misoprostol alone usage. Then dinoprostone, that is PGE2 analog, 20 mg is used as a vaginal suppository every 3 to 4 hours, maximum 4 to 6 doses can be used. The mean induction abortion delivery interval is 17 hours. It is a thermolabile, needs refrigeration and is expensive. And coming to PGF2 alpha, that is carboplatin tromethamine, available as ampules, that is 250 microgram intramuscular injection every 3 hours for maximum of 10 doses can be used. The success rate about 90% in 36 hours. The side effects like any other prostaglandins, we should not give it in bronchial asthma patients because it can cause bronchospasm. Then high dose of oxytocin. High dose of oxytocin as a single agent can be used in second trimester abortion. It is effective in 80% of the cases. It can be used with IV normal saline along with any medications, either intraamniotic or extraamniotic space in attempt to augment the abortion process. The mechanism of action is it acts on myometrial oxytocin receptor concentration, increases maximum during the labor. Oxytocin acts through receptor and voltage mediated calcium channels to initiate myometrial contractions. It stimulates amniotic and decidual prostaglandin production. Bound intracellular calcium is eventually mobilized from the sarcoplasmic reticulum to activate a contractile protein. The uterine contractions are physiological, that is causing fundal contraction with relaxation of the cervix. The drip rate can be increased up to 50 milliunits or more per minute. Currently, high dose, that is up to 300 units in 500 ml of dextrose saline is favored. Coming to surgical methods, dilatation and evacuation, then intrauterine instillation of either it can be a hypotonic saline or ethacredic lactin by extraamniotic. 13 to 15 weeks dilatation evacuation, it is generally not done because it is already the fetus is well formed and we generally don't give dilatation and evacuation. Earlier we used to do with intracervical tents, but now this is not done. So the injecting an intraamniotic instillation of hypertonic saline or ethacredine lactate This and all we used to use earlier where there is pre-era of prostaglandins. Now once the prostaglandins have come into the market, it is completely, almost you can say 100% replaced by the prostaglandins. But for historical importance, or the examiners who is used earlier, they like to know. So that is the idea of knowing this, even though being not routinely done. How does it act? So liberation of the prostaglandins following necrosis of the amniotic epithelium and the decidua. This in turn excites the uterine contraction and results in expulsion of the fetus. What are the preliminary procedures? It is done by using amniocentesis by 15 cm needle. Amount of saline to be instilled is calculated as number of weeks of gestation multiplied by 10 ml. The amount to be infused slowly at the rate of 10 ml per minute. Contraindications is cardiovascular. Patient has got a cardiovascular and renal lesion. Patient has got severe anemia because of sodium overload. We are not supposed to do it in this particular patients. So coming to the success rate is around 90 to 95% of the cases in induction abortion interval is around 32 hours. So when do you say that the method is failed? You need to wait till 48 hours with a proper dosage and then you have to switch on to the other methods. The complications are fever, headache, nausea, vomiting, cervical tear, retained products, infection. Most important is hypernatremia, pulmonary and cerebral edema. Then incidence of death is around 0 to 5 in 1000 installation. Then other intraamniotic installation are urea. Then coming to the extraamniotic is ethacridine lactate. Extraamniotic this is. Transcervically through number Foley's catheter 16. About 10 cm above the internal os. It is removed after 4 hours. The success rate is similar to saline installation but is less hazardous. It can be used more comparatively hypertonic saline. This can be used relatively more times. Stripping of the membrane with liberation of the prostaglandins from the decidua and dilatation of the cervix by the catheter are some known factors for initiation of the abortion. Coming to the last but not the least, hysterotomy. Hysterotomy is an operative procedure of extracting the products of conception out of the womb before 28 weeks by cutting through the anterior wall of the uterus, usually done by the abdominal route. Purpose of MTP. The complications are hemorrhage, shock, anesthetic complication, peritonitis, intestinal obstruction. And the other remote complications are menstrual abnormalities, scar endometriosis, incisional hernias. If pregnancy occurs, subsequent pregnancy occurs, chance of rupture of uterus is more with hysterotomy scar. So the complications we have discussed individually in each of the methods we used. The mortality first trimester maternal death is lowest, that is around 0.6 in 1 lakh procedures. The concurrent tubectomy even by abdominal route doubles the mortality rate. Mid trimester the mortality rate increases 5 to 6 times that of first trimester. Contrary to the result of advanced countries, the mortality from saline method has been found much higher in India compared to termination by abdominal hysterotomy with tubectomy. So that is the reason we don't generally recommend saline, hypertonic saline installation. So we used to do it ethacridine lactate by extraamniotic, and now it is only the prostaglandins and prostaglandins analogs. Thank you.